Hey everybody, Lawler here with another Rocket League update video, and this time we're going to be talking about how the tournament's beta is getting a complete overhaul and revamp for the free-to-play update coming out later this summer. In the blog, they break down how the tournaments are getting revamped, how players can join tournaments, what and how your competitive rank is going to be, and how your tournament rank is going to be, as well as how to find and obtain new items and titles. But before we jump into that, as always, if you guys like the content, make sure you guys give it a thumbs up, as well as make sure to hit subscribe and turn on notifications. And if you want to support me directly, the easiest way to do so is all the social medias that are rotating on the bottom left can be found in the description down below. Make sure to give those a like and follow as well. So if you guys haven't read the blog post, we're going to be breaking it down step by step. And one thing to talk about before we get into any of it, for anybody that's hosted a community tournament or anybody on stream that has hosted a tournament, there's always been the frustration that if you play in it, you can't spectate it. I did get confirmation from their community manager, Devin, that that will no longer be an issue. So if I host a tournament on stream and you guys play in it and I also play in it and I get knocked out, I'll still be able to spectate it afterwards. I won't just have to remake a new tournament and wait for that other one to finish. So really cool thing with that. But getting into the actual update, you can see in the graphic a little bit of a preview of how the tournament ranks are going to work. And we'll get into the specifics of not only how you earn those, but also how you can make them colored as well. So it starts off by talking about how it's getting a revamp and is going to be launched with a free-to-play update later this summer. But the big thing is that you are going to be able to sign up for competitive tournaments, which is a new ranked mode in the tournaments tab. So when you go into play and the tournaments option is there, there's also going to be a competitive tab as well. They don't really give too many visuals on that, but it does look like they've revamped kind of the UI and how it's going to look visually. A couple other things with the visuals, it looks like you'll have a tournament rank that you level up, kind of like you would level up your account. Not sure if that is just a brand new account and they're changing the visual of it, or if it's specific to the ranks, but based upon that icon and the one that you see in here, maybe there's a correlation. I don't know, but just kind of pulling at straws from where I can. Each region is going to have multiple competitive tournaments during the day, and they will generate a 32-team single elimination bracket based upon the team's skills. The tournament will be a best of one until the semifinals and the finals, which will become then 3v3. Teams that do lose in the first round, so if you play in the very beginning of the tournament and you either show up late or you end up losing and you get knocked out, do have the chance to play in a second chance bracket for another attempt, which I think is a really smart way of making it to where those that fall out right away have another chance to play a tournament right away, rather than having to wait for another one for another 15-20 minutes. So it does keep that player base active and continuing to play, as well as giving them another chance against the other teams that were first rounded due to unforeseen circumstances. So it'll be interesting to see on how that one displays actually in game, but I do feel that's a pretty good solution to solve multiple issues. Initially, it will be only 3v3s, but you will be able to queue either solo or 2v2 with a single friend, and then you get placed with randoms based upon what's available. You will have an initial rank, and that's going to be based upon what you do in the competitive matchmaking rank. I assume they're going to use 3v3 standard, but if they use something else, who knows? But I assume it's going to be 3v3 standard if they're starting with 3v3 as well. But your season rank and your tournament rank will adjust over the time as you play, because it is technically still a separate matchmaking queue. Think of it as where you have 1v1 competitive, 2v2, 3v3 solo standard. This tournament is a separate queue in rank. It's just in a different section other than that major play online area. Just like in matchmaking though, if you queue with people that are better or worse, it is going to associate everybody to that highest rank. So if you are diamond and you're playing with your 2 gold buddies, which is the example they give, everybody will be treated as a diamond player and be rewarded as such as well. And that applies to the rewards where everybody gets equal share of the tournament credits, which we'll talk about next. So then talks about what do you get, or what is the result for competing, and they kind of show a visual of how it breaks down. But ultimately, the way that it's going to work is that if you make it out of round 1, you will receive tournament credits, which is this icon, so new indicator of what it will look like. So as long as you don't get first rounded, you're getting something. But at the same time, if you get first rounded, at least you get a second chance. So there is that. I'm curious on if the same thing and the same results with getting extra points will work if you get out of the second chance first round as well. So obviously, the better you do, the more credits you'll earn. They give the example of if you win a gold tournament, you get 1,200 credits. But the higher rank you are, so if you are gold versus diamond versus champ, grand champ, the higher rank that you are, the more points that you're going to earn for winning a tournament or competing in general. So it incentivizes you to grind and get better and try to improve over time, which I think is a really cool thing that I'm going to talk about at the end of this video in my kind of final assessment of this. Even though you can earn tournament credits by just playing and kind of just making your way through the bracket, yes, you do earn quite a bit for winning, but the way that you get the most credits that they talk about is actually through 3 placement matches. So on screen, you can kind of see it, and I'll try to adjust it to show the full visual. But you basically play in 3 tournaments, and based upon how you perform, you get 3 placements, or these are your best results, which is very similar to H1Z1. If you guys ever played one of the original Battle Royale games, H1Z1 actually did this, and it was one of my favorite ranking systems. Kind of showing you on a graphic here, the way that it worked is you had an overall total score that was based upon your placement, how many kills you had, how many assists you had, and what your involvement was as a correlation. This guy got first place, he had 10 kills, 5 assists, and this is how many points he got. Based upon the way the points were distributed, it incentivized you like, okay, yes, I have all first places in my 10 matches or my 10 placement matches, and that's what gives me a rank. But I can always get more kills, I can always get more points, I can always get more assists, I can always be more aggressive or go for other things. So it incentivized you to continuously play. And that's what I really like about this system is you can play as many tournaments as you want, and the better you perform, the more you get rewarded. So I think it's a really cool way to incentivize. Kind of jumping the gun here, probably my favorite thing about what it can do for streaming. Right now, Rocket League on Twitch doesn't do that amazing unless it's for a competitive tournament or watching high-level gameplay. Unless you have a specific niche or have built a community, most people struggle because Rocket League, when you watch it, inherently makes you want to go play it instead. So I think the cool thing about this is it provides a storyline for a stream where it's like, today on stream, we're going to be focusing on trying to increase our tournament rank. Let's see if we can get the 3 best placements. And now I have a storyline with my community to push for the rest of the day. And it's not just, okay, he's queuing ranked again, he didn't win this ranked match. He's queuing ranked again, he won this ranked match. And that's all it is. Now it's, okay, playing in a tournament, how's he doing in the tournament? Okay, he increased his rank, awesome. Now he's playing in diamond tournaments instead of gold tournaments or, you know, whatever. And you slowly see that progression, which I think is allowing people to kind of get more invested in the content that's being provided. So I actually really like this. I'm a huge fan of this. And I think it's part of the reason why BRs in general, whether you're watching Fortnite, Apex Legends, Hyperscape, or whatever, the fact that you can tune in and immediately see, okay, he's X player left out of, 100, and it slowly ramps up that excitement as you get towards the final moments. I think this is going to do something similar to Rocket League, which I think it's just fantastic. I can't credit Psyonix enough for doing this. I think this is a really cool idea and is a great addition, not only with rewarding people for playing and competing, but also giving them a taste of what it was like to compete in like the ESLs and stuff in a very easy fashion. The other side to it as well is you still have the ability to earn items, so it incentivizes people. Ultimately, this is done extremely well. So not only do you earn ranks, and with these ranks you can earn additional things, primarily the credits will be able to be redeemed for a thing called cups. Cups will grant items like wheels, animated decals, goal explosions even, and there is 4 levels of cups based upon what your tournament ranking is. So I assume at level 1 you can get a bronze cup, at level 2 you can get a silver, and it'll increase from there. The reason why cup level is important is because you get a better chance of unlocking higher rarity items. And all tournament items also have the chance to drop as painted or certified. Usually items have a 25% chance in the drop rate to be painted, certified, or both. They also give you the ability to trade in unwanted items to receive tournament items of a higher rarity. I don't know if it classifies tournament items that are given out as the only items you can trade in, or if you're able to just take your other ones and trade those in as well. I would assume it is items that you get from just tournaments and opening cups. The best part about this as well that they detail is that you can also have the ability to trade exotics into black market stuff. So huge trade up in that. Big fan of that as well, especially with going on the blueprint system. You're paying at least 20 bucks to unlock and make one of those. They also talk about how winning a tournament will grant you a title that shows off the rank that you won, which I showed at the beginning, as you kind of get a peek here. But the cool thing is if you end up getting all 3 tournaments in your rank, so say you're gold rank and you get a gold win, a gold win, and a gold win, that will then not only obviously reward you and hopefully rank you up, but it also will take that title and give it a color. which I think is a really cool thing. I think it's awesome when they have really simple and subtle things like this that incentivize the player base to continue to want to play. So this may be overlooked, but I think it is so subtle, but also a really cool idea. Now, again, I already mentioned this, but there is no limitation to how many tournaments you can play in, but there is pretty strict punishments because of that. Obviously, these tournaments can tend to go on for a very long time, especially if you get further on. So early leavers will be punished heavily, first with a 15-minute matchmaking ban and a 3-hour tournament ban. If you do it again, it eventually escalates all the way up to 24 hours, then 7 days, and then also adding in a 24-hour matchmaking ban in severe cases. Not sure what they classify as severe case, but I assume it's just a repeat occurrence that keeps happening if people keep leaving early. The more tournaments, though, you complete, it'll actually go against that and help reduce the penalty if you ended up getting disconnected on accident or something else. The other thing that's had a little bit of controversy and a little bit of discussion around it on Twitter is that matches do have a hard cutoff because they want to make sure that the tournament keeps in motion. The big thing with this is from the very start of your first kickoff, when it counts down 3, 2, 1, and then you do the kickoff at 5 minutes remaining, you have 11 minutes to complete your match. If you do not, it is going to check to see which team has the most shots, which is awarding the offense. And if your team has more shots, you win. And if you're tied, it's a coin flip. It is completely RNG. And that's where people's frustration comes into play. The only thing, and not kind of giving my opinion on this, the only thing I hope they do is they give a visual representation. Because I can imagine if I'm in a really heated competition, about to go into the semifinals, and it's a tough match, and it comes down, we're like, oh crap, you know, we ran out of time, and it's been 11 minutes, and all of a sudden it's like, oh crap, who had more shots? And then we see that tie. It's like the anticipation keeps going up, which creates these really awesome content moments for streams and YouTube even. And then they don't show a visual of it. I don't know if they're going to like flip the puck, I think somebody said on Twitter, or if they're going to have a visual of a coin flipping to show that, or if they're just going to like yeet somebody out of the tournament and then it's just over for them and the other team progresses. I assume they'll have a visual built in game, but I'm curious to see on what it's going to be. So last but not least, they show a visual update, and I actually really like how this displays. The coolest thing in the leaderboard is if you click on a specific team, it'll actually break down their stats and track their stats throughout the tournament. So if I click on this team, which they show Liquid Boost, it shows the players that are competing, and it also has their goals, saves, and assists. So kind of a cool thing. I don't know what happens on the other side, if it's just for showing other teams or what's going on in here, but I think this is kind of simple and a really cool idea. And it allows you to cycle between the match details itself. So if you want to see what's going on between these two, you probably can. Super cool. A couple visual things that I enjoy as well is that it'll put a letter, it looks like, next to the first letter of the name of the team that signs up, so it should be a little bit easier to find. So that's cool. It also displays some color layouts with this, and I assume that is for this color being the primary color. So like Team Venom is green, makes sense. But Liquid Boost is blue, and they ended up winning, so they get the indicator. As for my final thoughts, I kind of jumped the gun. Realistically, I think this is a much needed overhaul. It's something that a lot of us have been asking for a really long time, where tournaments always felt unfinished and that there was a lot of polish needed, and it seems like they're taking that to another level, not only with just providing some of the features that we wanted, but incentivizing a reason to use it. We always wanted Psyonix sponsored tournaments in game, and now every day of every week you have the ability to log into the game. You can check out what tournaments are live. I can play in them. I can earn items without having to pay anything. I know what the results are going to be. I have an incentive to grind. I'm getting titles. I have the ability to play with people or with my friends. I can do randomized queue, or I can sign up. I just think it opens up a whole nother plethora of options for content creators and streamers, as well as the community who just wants that kind of taste of what it's like to compete at a higher level. And it gives them a way to earn that other than just, hey, play in the field and hopefully you're grand champ and you can compete. So I think Psyonix has done a really good job here of giving a clear path of how to become a pro. You compete in tournaments in game for the fun of it, and you try to level up. Once you start winning a bunch, maybe you realize, you know what, maybe we are that good. You go compete in the field. After you compete in the field and you start crushing, you make it in Division 1, you're like, yeah, we're pretty good. Let's go compete in the open qualifiers and possibly the grid in the future. And your path to pro is step by step. I absolutely love it, and commend them a whole lot for this, because this is more than I think anybody asked for. So Psyonix, major kudos. That is going to wrap it up for this video. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, or if I missed anything, let me know in the comments down below. I'll do my best to catch up on those and reply to any of those comments. And as always, if you guys enjoy the content, make sure you guys give it a thumbs up, as well as make sure to hit subscribe and turn on notifications. We'll catch you next time. Peace.